New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We know your other brother Marv did the Knicks forever, but you've done just about every team in the league. You did Ames, you did Dr. J games.
But after 45 years in this crazy business, people kept telling me, you got to write a book. So I did, and here it is.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, you get rid of Booker, because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Whoa, what do you say, folks? Game Time Decisions. We are live with you right here on SportsGrid on a Monday night. So much to get to off of a huge sports weekend. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, tracking Major League Baseball, and, of course, the NFL Draft. The most noteworthy day number 3 in NFL Draft history with the Shedeur Sanders slide. We will get into that. We will also talk offensive and defensive rookie of the year odds, as there are a number of options and standout prices I think that you can find across sports books. We will get into the Major League Baseball board that has already actually seen a game played today between the Mets, or is actually underway, I should say, between the Mets and the Nats into the 7th inning. We are starting Minnesota and Cleveland very, very soon. Some J-Ram love, Jose Ramirez in the back over the 1.5 hit run RBI. If you are looking to get involved there, a couple of baseball picks for me on the board. We will get to those. But the main events tonight, it's the postseason in the NBA as well as the NHL. We have 2 NHL playoff games, Dallas and Colorado, evened at 2 apiece. The reigning defending champs, the Florida Panthers, look to take a 3-1 series lead on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We will begin our show tonight, though, with the NBA playoffs, where the team that I am picking to win the NBA championship, have picked to win the NBA championship, Cleveland Cavaliers, look to punch their ticket into round number 2. Now, Cleveland, of course, eventually moving past Miami is inevitable. The Cavs will not be the ones to blow a 3-0 series lead. And Cleveland has been, so far, small sample size, absolutely the worst opponent of anyone in the playoffs. With respect to Miami and Spoelstra and that group, they are 8 games under 500. They were the 10 seed, actually, in the East. But Cleveland has looked better than anyone in the playoffs, the highest net rating, and their offense being a 136 is historic. Yes, it will be difficult to replicate that at any other point in this postseason. The Cavs doing that against a Spoelstra-led Miami Heat, I think, is incredibly noteworthy, and doing it as well consistently. 121, 121, 124 in these 3 games, with the peak of it coming on the road without an all-star caliber guard in Darius Garland, I feel very good about what I've seen from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they will close this out tonight, though I am not willing to bet that 8.5-point spread. I find the total a bit tricky. If Miami is going to pull off an upset tonight, they will need Cleveland to go very, very cold, quite frankly, in this one. It might happen. I'm not betting on it. I am going to bet on a clear and obvious bounce-back spot for Evan Mobley, going over the 12.5 rebounds plus assists. Evan Mobley, through the first 3 games of this series, would almost be the, if you wanted to try and make the case, concern point for Cleveland. I think through the regular season was this team's best player. In these playoffs, is not stuffing the stat sheet in a monstrous way. Again, I think you're probably grasping at straws, averaging 16 on 58% shooting, only 9 in the opening game. But it's the rebound category where we've not seen a ton out of Evan Mobley. Yet to have 8 rebounds in any one of the 3 games up until this point. If you look, only once in the regular season did he go 4 straight games without a double-double. You could play the rebounds individually, but I'm going to play the rebounds and assists at 12.5. I think tonight looks something like 11-5, 12-5 for Evan Mobley, and as I think Cleveland will move on and get the job done against the Heat and position themselves to inevitably see the Indiana Pacers. And the Pacers beating the Milwaukee Bucks is something I was very confident in happening in this postseason. I bet on the Pacers to win that series in 6 exactly. It would require Milwaukee pulling off an upset, what all be now actually would be quite a sizable upset. An 8-point favorite for the Pacers. If the Bucks can pull off that upset, I do think Indiana would very much win it in 6 then. I don't think the Bucks are capable of reeling off 2 in a row here and putting the Pacers in a true panic spot. And, of course, a big part of that now is that Damian Lillard is out for not just the remainder of this series, any potential playoff games, and probably all of next season, if not definitely all of next season. And the torn Achilles for Damian Lillard is, you feel terrible for him. I know I do. I certainly do. Lillard, rushing back from something that could have been really scary, right, with the blood clots, gets back out there, couldn't find his rhythm in either of the first 2 games, but they did get a split, right? And very early on into game number 4 comes that Achilles tear. But what this tear means for Milwaukee is that, so a lot of people, what this people believe means for Milwaukee is Giannis is going to ask out. They believe now that Giannis Antetokounmpo, the superstar of this team, of this franchise, will look around and say, I can't win here. And it's time for me to hit the eject button. It's time for me to get going. And I think that might happen. You could say it is absolutely going to happen. I think the change, though, off of the Damian Lillard injury now is Milwaukee does not need to wait for the Giannis trade request. I don't think Milwaukee should worry about whether he does or not, and Milwaukee should be ready to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo for themselves. The Bucks competing with the Dame-Lillard duo was seemingly unlikely, even at full strength. The only way that this team was going to feel like they actually had a chance next year was probably if they traded Damian Lillard. There weren't really any other moves to make. This team wasn't going to be able to do enough changes. They could move the furniture around. They were certainly not going to be able to buy a new home. Right? Let's put the coffee table here. Right? Let's flip it where the couches are. They could trade Dame and maybe at a risk that they wouldn't even get better. That was the only way they were going to be able to do anything that made it feel like they had a chance, was moving on from Dame, and that's not going to happen now. And now you just have one of the 3 best players in the NBA in Giannis, and you're drawing completely dead entering the season, and you don't have your own draft pick? There's no reason for that. Giannis probably will ask out, but Milwaukee should be ready and willing to shop Antetokounmpo regardless. I'm going to hold off, by the way, on potential landing spots for Antetokounmpo, because I think a lot of that will be dictated by how these playoffs go. I think teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers could be interested and likely have the pieces to entice Milwaukee, but how far they go could dictate whether or not they want to press that button. The Rockets will be thrown out there. The Brooklyn Nets might be thrown out there. In time, we will do that. But Giannis's time in Milwaukee is coming to a close. We go to Rockets Warriors next with you right here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, great as always to have you here with us on SportsGrid on this Monday night. Kevin Walsh, certainly focusing on the NBA playoffs. Heat Cavs is where things begin. Just a 2-game slate tonight, and it rolls over actually into a 4-game slate tomorrow, which begins at 6 o'clock, which is pretty incredible. This Monday night, though, offers us up Miami and Cleveland, and then we go into Golden State and Houston, which has been a really fun series. Steph Curry has been absolutely brilliant in 2 of the 3 games, averaging 29 a game so far in this series. He's doing fantastic work in the assist category, which is
a little frustrating for me as somebody holding on to a really nice Amen Thompson 22-1 assist leader ticket. The Jimmy injury certainly gets him past. Draymond's not been great in the assist category, but Steph's been wonderful so far across the board. And I'm very interested to see if Steph is able to do that again tonight, more so in the vein of can Steph do it for consecutive games? Now, maybe Steph won't need to. Jimmy Butler is expected back tonight. Jimmy Butler was wonderful for Golden State in the Clipper game 82, in the game against Memphis, in the play-in game that secured their seventh slot, and was really, really good in game number 1. He was injured very early on in game number 2. So we wait and see what Jimmy can be tonight. Is he going to be slowed down at all? Could his minutes be a little bit limited? I think that all makes for a really interesting game. I lean towards Houston in this one, but I don't feel the need to bet it as I'm already a little bit tied in to Houston winning this game with some pre-series wagers. For those that were kind of following along with all of those, I did make a play on the Warriors and Rockets series, as well as the Nuggets and Clippers series to go over 5.5 games, both of them in a parlay at plus 125. We've already gotten there in the series between Denver and LA. It's guaranteed to go at least 6. So a Houston win here tonight would secure the same fate. So that's what I'll be rooting on. What I am betting on tonight is Amen Thompson. And Amen Thompson steps into this one with what I think should hopefully be a clear understanding of what he needs to do. Amen Thompson has an opportunity, if guarded the same way as he was in game number 3 especially, to really flip this game around. Amen Thompson was being guarded by the Warriors a little bit comparable to how you would see Ben Simmons guarded. All the space in the world. The difference is Amen Thompson was willing to be aggressive. He just couldn't find any efficiency. He finished the game against Golden State 5 of 16 from the field, 11 points scored. During the regular season, when Thompson had at least 10 attempts from the field, just 10, took 16, when he has at least 10, he scored 12 or more points in 32 of 36 games. So getting up to 16 tonight, or getting up to 16 last game and not getting you 12 points was an outlier, big-time outlier. I think that's correct, and I think those same opportunities are there. The reason I'm going to pair the rebounds and assists into one play here and go over that 22.5 at minus 120 is Amen Thompson, rebounds plus assists, was a pre-series cap based on the amount of minutes I felt he would play and how I thought he would impact this series. So bringing those together, and that was a 12.5 number from game number 1, a 12.5 number in game number 2. Bringing that all together is something I am very, very happy to do. I really like Amen Thompson in this game. I think he should impact it from the word go. I thought he started to find a little bit of a rhythm there down the stretch, touching the paint, either going up, offensive rebound, kicking to the corner for a 3, layoff pass to Alperen Şengün, who missed a ton of bunnies down that stretch, quite frankly. I think Thompson, over that number, looks to be in really, really, really good shape. The winner of this series, by the way, is now projected, of course, to see the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota winning both games 3 and 4 in Minnesota has now positioned them with a 3-1 series lead and a minus 500 price. Minus 500 to win that series. And there are 2 big takeaways for me with the Lakers being down. I will say it's been a very close series. Sometimes the breaks just do not go your way, and they've not gone the Lakers' way. The Lakers probably feel they could be up 3-1 instead they're down 3-1. Sometimes that's just how playoff basketball goes. But the 2 big takeaways, as somebody who thought the Lakers would win the Western Conference entering into this postseason, is that the Lakers do not have a complete roster. They attempted to do that at the deadline by bringing in Mark Williams. The trade fell apart, and they were not able to actually round that roster out. And that is damaging for the Lakers. Now, you would be right to say, but KW, you knew that going into the playoffs. Correct. What I didn't know is that J.J. Redick's inexperience would expose the incomplete roster in historic fashion. J.J. Redick made history by not subbing out anyone in the second half of game number 4. 5 guys, all 24 minutes. Inexcusable. That's not coaching. That's not coaching. That's praying. That's praying you are going to get saved by your best players. That's bad. In real time, I wasn't tweeting much during the game, but I had a bad feeling, so I wanted to put it out there to the people. The Lakers should steal 2 minutes at least for Luka at the top of the quarter with that 10-point lead entering the fourth. They didn't do that. Luka was gassed. LeBron, at the age of 40, gave you everything he had on the defensive side of the ball, so he had nothing for you on the offensive side. Falls on the coach. And in also not playing Jackson Hayes at all, you are taking away some easy offense. Worried about what it could cost you on the defensive side of the ball, I get it, but you're taking away easy offense. Luka, drive, lob, dunk. Simple as that. The Lakers roster is incomplete. But the Lakers roster, or no roster, is so incomplete that a coach should go out there and in 24 minutes make 0 substitutions. That's what we saw from J.J. Redick, and it was a huge, huge misfire that I believe cost them game number 4. Let's talk some playoff hockey next right here on SportsGrid.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back in the right here, we are on SportsGrid this Monday night. We got a lot of good stuff coming up for you here as well. Good to talk to Joe Madden. Get some of her picks for tonight's NHL card, which I am very excited for. Shout out Joe, who kind of tweeted out that we had, I guess a year ago, we were right on here, and I imagine we were talking a little bit around the NHL playoffs. So we will do that again, which should be great. We're going to also get into the Shedeur Sanders, the whole thing of it all, the decision, the fall, the why, the who, the when, the where, and also hear a little bit from the people at Cleveland Matt Fontaine is going to join the show. So I'm really excited to talk to Matt and get his reaction off of everything. NHL playoffs, 2 tonight. You had a ton going on this weekend. Washington, took the life out of Montreal with a 4-goal third period. Edmonton arguably keeps their series alive with an overtime win against the Kings. They even that series up. Winnipeg finds themselves now even with St. Louis after the Blues beat them 5-1. Carolina up 5-2 on the New Jersey Devils. And you have Dallas and Colorado, where that series is 2 apiece. The Lightning are hoping to do the same. My takeaway, though, is I was diving into both of these games, and, we're kind of in that point where I'm certainly going to give, postseason hockey a little bit of extra look. We'll see if something, really jumps out. We're not ignoring it, not betting it every night. But I felt that both of these games under was the way to play it. I don't really like the spot for Tampa Bay offensively in Florida against Bobrovsky off of a game where you scored 5 goals. It feels like a 1 to 2 goal night at best for Tampa Bay, if not a shutout. I know they've already been shut out in this series. Could happen again. I worry a little bit, though. Could Florida be awesome offensively? It's possible, right? But Vasilevsky's obviously got a ton of pedigree in his own right for Tampa Bay. So I like under 5.5. I didn't play it yet. Dallas, Colorado at 6.5 was a little bit surprising to me. Minus 140, minus 135 towards that under. But that's still a big-time total. The Avs took a very commanding, lead in Dallas, winning 5-1. They lose 2 straight overtime games, so they get another, So they get another dominant win to even the series up 4-0 in the second game. To me, the Stars are live in the series, but they clearly are not as good as Colorado. The books pricing tells you that. And I think the Avs, even if on the road, will come out really dialed in. And I think Dallas could struggle to score in this one. But I also don't know if the Avs are just going to be able to continuously rip off another 4 or 5 goal type of effort. So at one point I was considering an alt parlay of under 7.5, Stars Avs, under 6.5, Panthers Lightning. But what I opted for instead was a plus money grand salami, if you will, under 11.5 goals at plus 110, these 2 games combined. The worry is one of these teams scores 6 or 7, but I think it's more likely that 2 of these teams combine for just 3 goals, which will put this in a really, really good position. I'm going under the 11.5 combined goals between these 2 games today. I like under in both. It could split and still be a winner if one of them is really low scoring. Yes, it could go the other way. I do not think it will. 2 plays on the Major League Baseball board for me. Quickly, just by the way, the Mets are now up 13-0. 13 run pool players have to hope that they stop scoring there, but they probably will not. I like the Reds up against Palante. The Reds are so far 0-4 in Nick Martinez starts. He's not that bad. They are a much better team to me than St. Louis. The Cardinals are 2-11 on the road. Palante, very, very vulnerable. I like the Reds price. Got it at minus 118, so I made that money line play. And then I made a run line play on the LA Dodgers tonight. Dustin May, clear and obvious bounce-back spot, off to a great start this season, was lit up at Wrigley Field, should shut down the Miami Marlins. And Edward Cabrera, a righty who struggles against lefties. Not great. Shohei at the top of the order. Don't be surprised if Ohtani goes deep tonight. I'm going for the Dodgers on that run line. I'm considering, by the way, the Dodgers money line paired up in the futures market. And now there's some conversations ongoing. Is this a group play? Am I gonna be pushed over the finish line here by a pal? We'll see. We'll talk about it. But we stick with the hockey and bring in Joe Madden next on SportsGrid.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's make it happen here. It's a 1-year anniversary. Not really of anything like specific, but 1 year ago today, according to sources, a.k.a. Joe Madden. Joe and I were on air here on Game Time Decisions. I imagine talking hockey. And, Joe, that's exactly what we are set out to do once again here today. I don't think I can hear Joe. I don't know if that is... Oh, there we go. Joe, good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to hear from you, too. I was just saying, hopefully next year, same time, same place, Game Time Decisions, talking more hockey as well.
Absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about tonight's games. If we have some time, we can zoom out to some of the big picture of it all. But the defending champs look to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. What are you looking for here in Florida, Tampa Bay?
I'm looking for a really tight battle between these two teams tonight. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning really impressive with what we saw in that last game, but I do think Florida is better on that power play than we saw. We saw the kill come out nice and strong for the Tampa Bay Lightning, locking them down, not allowing them to score on all 4 of their opportunities. So I'm a little nervous about this total, Kevin, because I do think we get that defensive battle. You look at Andre Vasilevsky's numbers, he's been really sound. That last game, he stopped so many of those attempts, those shots on goal. It was a 5-1 game with the Florida Panthers scoring in the first and Tampa taking the win. But Vasilevsky overall in this series has an .890 save percentage. When we look at Bobrovsky, much stronger numbers with a .903. I do think the Florida Panthers, this series has been about the road team so far. The road team has been able to get those wins, but I do believe the Florida Panthers can get it done tonight at home. I'm going to lay the juice with them, and you know I don't love betting the favorites, but I do think Florida in the playoffs is just a different beast. And I think they answer back off of that loss in the last game. Now, I think this does start off with those goals in the first period, and then we slow down a little. We look at that last game, and even though it was a 5-1 game, Florida still scored their 1 goal in that first period. So I'll take the over 1.5. In the first period, it's coming in at -116. I'm then going to look at who I think can get those goals on the board. I think it's worth a look here at Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk for the anytime goal coming in at +195. We know how strong he is for the Florida Panthers. Now, you could look at him on that power play, but I'm a little nervous on the power play because of how strong the kill came out for Tampa in that last game. And the kill's been strong for both of these teams over the last 2. Both teams haven't scored on that power play since game 1. So you would expect it to start coming back into form. But I'll stay with the goal. I'm then going to look at Sam Bennett, though. You guys look at him for the point. He had a point in every single game, minus 104. But on the other side for the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's hard to even understand Nikita Kucherov yet to score that goal, Kevin. He's coming in at plus 180. He has 4 assists on the board, but no goals as of yet. I do think it changes tonight.
Kucherov always tempting when it comes to postseason hockey. Florida enters today tied for the second best odds to win the Stanley Cup. They are tied with Colorado, a price that will move regardless, win or lose tonight likely, against the Dallas Stars. What are you expecting from a very, very important game number 5?
Yeah, this is such an important game number 5 with these two teams tied 2-2 apiece, Kevin. And the price has been dropping all day on the Colorado Avalanche, and I have to jump in. I did originally take them to take this series in 6, and I think they still have every opportunity of doing so. But to be able to get there, they have to get this win tonight in Dallas. Now, we know this series opened up with them with the big win in Dallas, 5-1 win. I expected them to be able to take that first game at home, but they weren't able to take that first game at home. The Dallas Stars winning game 2 in Colorado in overtime and game 3 at home in overtime, 2-1. Now, we did see game 4. Colorado answered right back. We saw that defensive battle. We saw them lock down. They were able to get the shutout. And the story for me really here is Mackenzie Blackwood and how solid he has been. I went into the Stanley Cup playoffs when they were starting, and I said, I love Colorado, but we don't know what we're going to get out of Mackenzie Blackwood. Mackenzie Blackwood has been one of the best goaltenders in the playoffs thus far. He's got a 1.60 goals against average, a 939 save percentage. He got the shutout in that last game. And I do think as long as he comes out strong, we're going to see Colorado get another win. Now, I'm going to be cautious with this total. I'll take the Avs on the money line. It's dropped into the minus 135, 137 mark. I think the Avs either win this 3-2 or 4-2 because of the empty netter, but because it's that tight, you could see that overtime game. So I'm going to stay off of that. I would bet the overtime before I bet the total, but I'm going to look at some players out here for their points and their goals tonight. Firstly, Cale Makar, power play point. He's Stella out there on the power play. Coming in at plus 170. You could look at him for the assists. His points so far have come on the power play via the assist with Nathan McKinnon getting the goals. But I'll take the power play point. I think Martin Necas has so much value out here for Colorado. 2+ points in this one at plus 420. Now, he only has an assist so far, so not that he has even 2 points yet in this series, but I do think this is a big night. Top line, top power play. He will come to play. He was brought onto this team for a reason. And then on the other side, it's Wyatt Johnston here of the Dallas Stars for that goal. His goal coming in at plus 230. He's had 2 assists in the first 2 games in Dallas. I think he will come alive in this one. He needs to step up for the Dallas Stars. And I'm going to stay off Mikko Rantanen. He's only got 1 assist thus far, and it's just not what Dallas was hoping for. Anyone who was betting Dallas to win the Stanley Cup.
Joe, and we're here with Joe Madden, of course, talking some playoff hockey. I'm always fascinated by whatever's going on around Connor McDavid. You, along with plenty of people, we're confident the Kings would get by Edmonton in this series. It's even through 2. What is the temperature check for you on Edmonton, LA after 4 games?
We have seen Edmonton have to battle their way back, and we've seen the Kings really lose it. They've led these games, and then they've given it away. You even look at game 1, that 6-5 ending, and the Kings had dominated until the Edmonton Oilers made a comeback in that third period. Were able to get that final 6 goal with 42 seconds left on the clock and win it. So that was a tight one. We saw game 2, a tight one as well. We saw empty netters in their 6-2 wins. So the LA Kings really need to step up. This series going back home, they do have that home ice advantage, which we know was so pivotal for this team in the regular season. Am I shocked that Edmonton was able to get the win in game 4 last night in overtime? Not at all, Kevin, because you look at that game and you watching that game, it was like the Kings had 2 players on the ice and Edmonton had 12. They were all over the LA Kings players. They kept firing and firing at Darcy Kemper. Darcy Kemper stood on his head. And then that overtime goal, came on the power play for the Edmonton Oilers on a tripping call by the Kings that, I looked at it. I thought they both tripped each other. So still kind of shaking my head over that, but I was really glad, Kevin. I was ready to go to bed at that point last night. That game was so late. No one really wanted to see double overtime, especially because the writing was on the wall at that point. Edmonton was going to get the win, but I'm still confident the LA Kings returning back home will get another win, but I think this now goes all the way to 7.
It's going to be really fun to watch play out. The fact that there's 3 guys at the top of the points leaderboard, they're all in this series. Of course, Draisaitl and McDavid are 2 of the 3, with Kemp from LA being that 3rd. I, with no financial investments, root for Edmonton to keep on going. I don't know if it'll be possible. Let me sneak this in here quickly, Joe, before we let you go.
Yeah.
Ovechkin, I don't know, like season of destiny maybe? Has anyone considered this?
Yeah, it's really feeling that way, right? How great would it be? Now, if Ovechkin is able to hoist the Stanley Cup this season, they will get past Montreal here, and then they've got to get past the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they have every chance. I think this team has every ability to hoist the cup. I hope he retires if he's able to do so. That'd be a perfect ending to his career. And Kevin, I heard that you are rooting for Edmonton, so you basically just said, you're rooting against me. The Cowboys
well,
thanks a lot.
Well, okay. You know what? Fair point. Fair point. I might have to recalculate. Joe, we appreciate it. As always, quick break, more game time decisions on the other side.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live with you right here on SportsGrid, a Monday night, and I understand, the weekend is in the rearview mirror. I disagree. The NFL draft, shattering numbers, most interesting day number 3 ever, and the reason the interest didn't stop, but the reason the questions stop is because the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders. So to help us talk through this all, that is going to be Matt Fontana. You can find him over on Twitter at MattFontana83. Does the Matt Fontana Show covering all things Cleveland. Matt, we appreciate you making some time. There's so many places we can go, and we'll try and get to it all. I think we should start with the Shedeur piece. What did you make of the selection after the fall, and where are you on whether this was a good decision? Who made this decision? Are Browns fans happy about this all?
I mean, there are some, Kevin, that really are extremely happy because there was a contingent of fans that wanted him at 2. So if you didn't take him at 2 and you got him with the 100 and whatever pick that it was, I mean, you should be over the moon about it. And then there was a big contingent of people that said, we'd like Shedeur, but he's not worthy of 2. And if you could find him later, then great. But it's just to see that free fall happen, and we're all sitting there wondering who's the team that's going to take him. Because I'll tell you, the vibe that we had here in Cleveland was we were interested in Shedeur to see who was going to stop the slide, not thinking for once that it was going to be the Browns that would step in and stop the slide for him, and let alone when they took Dillon Gabriel ahead of him. So the Dillon Gabriel thing, I kind of understand. They're letting be known as much as they can. Like, he was our diamond in the rough. We loved him. There's these intangibles that we liked about him, and that's why we took him. Okay, fine. But then to come back, to trade another pick to move up, to go get Shedeur Sanders, I mean, it sounds like what we all think, that was a directive, maybe from ownership, to say, go get this guy. We think he can fit here. Give up this other pick up, and we need to go get Shedeur Sanders. Why? How many rookie quarterbacks can you possibly develop at once? And it's not unheard of. Kirk Cousins, RG3. I mean, there's been times that 2 rookies have been drafted, and we don't have a quarterback in Cleveland for the long term. So maybe this is finally the time that they should have drafted 4. Maybe they should have used all their picks and drafted a quarterback and hopefully develop one of them. And one of them, just throwing darts at the board at this point, trying to get one of them to work. But yeah, I mean, I was really shocked to see that it was Shedeur. Where he slots in, where he fits in. I saw you guys had the odds up there of who's going to be the week 1 starter. I think it's free money. I think it's Joe Flacco. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to be here week 1.
Yeah, okay. So, Matt, I agree with you. I was actually having a conversation with someone about this, and I know Flacco isn't the story of the Sanders thing, but I think the books are way off base that it's Kenny Pickett as the top option. Flacco, with the relationship, the age, and the Flacco number's been dropping, by the way. I heard it was at 12-1. At one point, I saw it 7-1 down to 3-1. So you have the same sense that Flacco is the leader in the clubhouse, not Pickett.
100%. I mean, I don't know how. Listen, the Browns got done with the season. We know Deshaun Watson's not going to play again. They get rid of Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Kevin, they had nobody in the room. They had to go get somebody that, just on the off chance everything went bad, they needed somebody to play quarterback. Well, everybody says, well, they must have really liked something about Kenny Pickett. Maybe he was the only one available. Maybe, and I know there's always free agents, but there's a line, that you want to have at least some semblance of a guy to start. So they went out, they get Kenny Pickett with a team in the Eagles that they have a relationship with. That's where Andrew Berry, the Browns general manager, came from. And they'll sell you all the, oh no, we love Kenny Pickett, we love this. I think they got him just as a default, like a break glass in case of emergency guy. Then when the Kirk Cousins thing was very clear to not happen, they go out and they get Joe Flacco, who was always kind of waiting around, whatever they decided to do in the draft and did. Now, of all the ones, I think Kenny Pickett's the most expendable at this point. And it's been a hot topic here in Cleveland today about which of those 4 take the Deshaun. If you're going to bet Deshaun Watson, just give me that money. Don't even worry about it there at the end, because he's never going to play for the Browns again, I don't think. But at this point, they sold, I think, the locker room to say that Joe Flacco is the guy to at least bridge us through this season. You'll eventually see the rookies get some time in there. But I think for what? You gave up a 5th-round pick, and people in Cleveland all day have been saying, oh, they gave up assets for Kenny Pickett. I go, they gave up nothing for Kenny Pickett. They really didn't. There's a lot of people trying to connect that Joe Flacco's not making a lot of money. Of course not. He's a 40-year-old quarterback. He's not going to break the bank out there. So I think it's Flacco 1. I think you find out who your number 2 is between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. The other one will be inactive on game day as the 3rd emergency quarterback. And I think they'll ship Kenny Pickett out. Probably, again, if he plays well in the preseason, you might get that 5th-round pick back from somebody. You never know.
Yeah, and I think, the only logic to me where it ends up Flacco sent out is Flacco actually just commands more money or more assets because Flacco is held in higher regard around the league than Kenny Pickett, which I think is on the board. And we're going to keep Matt around. We're going to talk some Travis Hunter trade back and kind of the Browns' outlook for this season, because they keep doing things that say next year, but then they did the whole Myles Garrett thing, so I'm fascinated by that. The Sanders piece that, to me, I cannot wrap my head around is I think it is very plausible that the only team in the NFL who thought Dylan Gabriel was a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders is the team that ended up drafting Shedeur Sanders. That is what is blowing my mind. And it's not supposed to be a slight to Gabriel. The Browns can be correct about that. But to then also be the team that stopped the Sanders slide. We Matt and I just met. He doesn't know this. I'm an Eagle fan. I was ready to have Shedeur on my team, and I think everybody else was too, Matt, which is why the Browns traded up in front of Philadelphia.
Well, and I'm not saying the Browns are not a quarterback needy team, but how many quarterback needy teams over and over and over and over again? They'd show that graphic. They're like, oh, the Raiders passed on him for an 8th time now. And I mean, eventually it just got to a crazy point where you just go, you felt like a collusion was on. You felt like something was going on with him. But I guess maybe just really these teams didn't have the evaluation, whether how much Dion was a part of that, who knows? And just, again, looking at the football prospect, I had the same questions that everybody did. And it was just all these teams that over and over again said, he's obviously not good enough for this 4th round pick. And, and eventually the Browns said, he's good enough for us here. We'll take him.
Yeah. The most fascinating thing we have seen in some time around the NFL draft, they traded Travis Hunter, and it's not even close to the most relevant Colorado football player story around the Browns. That's why Matt's going to stick around, and we're going to come right back on SportsGrid.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Kevin Walsh with you right here. It is Game Time Decisions. Trying to just hit on some of the headlines from the NFL draft, and the only way to do that is to do 15 minutes on the Browns and then get to everything else that happened over this weekend. It's why Matt Fontana is joining us here. So for me, Matt, my frustration with Cleveland, let's forget Sanders and all of that, is I actually want to watch an NBA or an NFL team NBA it. Hey, we're going to be bad. but this will work out in the long run. And trading from 2 to 5 does that. I think they should have traded from 5 down to 10 and just whatever the Bears were offering and let them go get Genti, just keep on going back. So I was a little, maybe you love Mason Graham, the prospect. That's fine. But we want a 2026 quarterback doesn't line up with refusing to trade Myles Garrett. I just feel this Browns roster should either have Myles Garrett and Travis Hunter or neither one of them. I just think they're trying to do a 2-timeline thing, and I don't think that's necessarily going to work. Where do you land on, outside of Shedeur Sanders, the Browns' offseason and now outlook after the draft?
I mean, Kevin, it's like you can't half do a rebuild. Everybody says, like, when you try to half do it, which the Browns were adamant this offseason that it's not a rebuild, that they feel like they are just a quarterback away from competing. And you look at certain parts of the roster and you go, okay, I see where you could see that. The offensive line is not the same that it was a couple of years. Like, they are just a year away from Joel Bitonio probably retiring and having to replace 2 guys on that offensive line when at one point it was the best in the league. Certainly you have Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, concussion problems. Nobody knows where his career is going to be. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah didn't play a lot last year. He's got a neck injury. They don't know if he's going to be able to resume his career. So it's so interesting that they didn't decide to move Myles Garrett. And I think that was obviously just such a franchise altering trade that they didn't make. And I think they drew a line in the sand and they said, you're not getting traded. You might as well sign this deal to become the richest non-quarterback in league history because we're not getting rid of you. Like, we have to almost stand up for ourselves. Like, we can't, like, there's a fine line we can get through. That's a line we cannot cross. And the trading back for Mason Graham, I agreed with. I think they felt like they wanted one of 3 players, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, or Mason Graham. They knew Cam Ward was going 1 and they knew Will Campbell was going to go 4. So they felt like at 5, they were going to get one of them. They pick up the extra 1 and hopefully have the ammo to go get a quarterback next year. And that's just kind of where I think they are going to try to win games this year and hopefully root hard against Jacksonville and try to get that pick as high as you can. But also, let's be real. I mean, the Browns' outlook, there's a chance that they have 2 top 10 picks next year. Wherever there is and wherever Jacksonville's is, that's a real possibility that they have 2 top 10 picks, which at that point, I'm not saying you could almost get to anybody, but you could almost get to anybody, and especially in a draft that might have 4 first-round quarterbacks next year. It's the thing. The Browns got the 2nd overall pick in a draft that there was only 1 quarterback worth taking, and they didn't get that guy. And they had that one Ravens win that they had in the regular season cost them Cam Ward. And that's what happens. So you set yourself up for next year and hopefully be able to make a run at a quarterback that and again, the importance is here, are you going to pick the right guy that is going to be your franchise guy? There's not a lot of faith in Andrew Berry that he can find that guy, but we'll find out.
I think it's not a major what if, but I do wonder if Myles Garrett waited until after the draft, where Cleveland then is able to execute this, next year we'll get it done process. Would they have been like, you know what? Just let Myles go and let's get all of the... They would have had the Eagles' next 3 first-round draft picks in their control. And yes, I hope every one of those is 32, 32, 32, but now you got 3 ones and all of your future ones. A fascinating weekend for the people of Cleveland. All while, Guardians are playing good games, Cavs are rocking and rolling. So it's not all bad, but it's all very, very interesting. Matt Fontana, appreciate you making some time. I am sure we will be doing it again, at least during the NFL season, if not sooner.
Yeah, let me know, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, awesome stuff there from Matt. We are coming up against a quick break. When we do come back here, we're going to go through tonight's slate a little bit more. Talk some Major League Baseball, some NHL, and, of course, the NBA playoffs tonight, where the Cleveland Cavaliers look to move forward and get themselves into round number 2, where they will await the winner of the Pacers, or the Bucks, the Pacers, in round number 2, and continue to shorten that number, that NBA Finals price that at one point, before the playoffs got underway, was 7-1. It's under 5-1. It should be shorter. It will be if they keep playing like this. We'll talk to Rohit Panaya as well. It's a quick break, and it's more Game Time decisions on SportsGrid.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live with you right here on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh on a Monday night. We are about to begin Florida and Tampa Bay. If you did miss it at the top, give me the under 11.5 goals between these 2 postseason games. I like double unders, 5.5 Florida, Tampa Bay, 6.5 Dallas, Colorado. If one of these games sails under, we should be good to go. I know you might say, what if one of these teams scores 7? Well, then I'm beat. What are you going to do? It is what it is. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen. I think we get some tighter playoff games as these series grow a little bit longer. Also, just one quick baseball note. 19-5. Mets up on the Nationals. Woo! That is some score. Let's talk some NBA basketball. Let's do it with our guy, Rohit Panaya. Rohit, always good to catch up with you on this Monday night. Tell me before we get into tonight's 2 games, how have you found the NBA postseason betting so far?
You know, it's been pretty good. I mean, the Thunder obviously steamrolled the Grizzlies. It's been a lot of, teams that are, dealing with injuries, going up against the teams that are, red hot. I'd say probably the Nuggets-Clippers series has been the hardest one to figure out from a betting perspective, kind of going back and forth there. But I find, for the most part, things have been kind of predictable with what kind of the majority of people thought entering most of these series.
Yeah, I think for me, I felt, though, as we hit the weekend and got some of these series under the belt, you start to feel things out a little bit more. Who's important? Who's not? Okay, I can trust this guy. Not here type of situations. I'm hoping that carries into tonight's card. Let's go to your card, though. Miami and Cleveland. Cavs looking for the sweep. What do you expect here in game number 4?
I think we're going to see more points from Cleveland. I mean, they've been pretty much impossible to stop offensively for pretty much the whole season. Number 1 offense in the league during the regular season, number 1 offense in the playoffs. They've gone well over their team total every game this series. The team total was at 109.5 in game 3. They score 124 points. I know the fourth quarter was a little bit, all over the place. Both teams kind of pulled a lot of their starters, 36 points from Cleveland in that fourth quarter. But even if they had scored 22 in that fourth quarter, it would have still gone over their team total. That was without Darius Garland. Probably won't have Garland either tonight. But I mean, Jerome has been really, really good as we know when he's been running the point to get 11 assists, no turnovers in game 3. And they have so many weapons, and we know that they can take advantage of some of these weaker defenders on the Heat. Obviously, Garland took a little bit of criticism maybe for calling out Tyler Hero as a weak point of attack defender. But Hero is a weak point of attack and defender. They can just, go at him every time. And there's other guys that the Heat, throw out there, after trading away Butler, and they really haven't had, Mitchell's been pretty good on the perimeter, but there's a lot of weak points in that defense you can attack. And Cleveland has a lot of talented guys that can score. So I like the over on their team total here.
Yeah, for those, I know not everyone loves offensive rating, but theirs is a 136. The gap between where Cleveland is right now and the second best offense so far in the playoffs is basically the gap between the worst offense in the playoffs and the second best offense. Yeah. They are playing at in a postseason row hit where we're all talking about, understandably, the 90s are back and everybody's physical. Yeah. The Cavs are just lighting Miami on fire. No pun intended, of course. Talk to me on Golden State, Houston. Steph's been great in 2 of these 3 games. When he's great, they get the job done. What are you expecting here in game number 4?
I'm laying the points with the Warriors. It's trending like Jimmy Butler's going to be back, and that's huge. I mean, we've seen this Warriors team just really change over the last couple of months of the season after adding Butler, arguably, top 4 team across the league in that time. We've seen the Rockets kind of slide a little bit towards the end of the season. And in terms of playoff experience, I mean, it's like night and day with these teams. The Rockets have Van Vliet, and that's about it as far as guys that have playoff experience. This Warriors team is just filled with playoff guys that have been here, that have done it. And we've seen that in the fourth quarter of these games. Warriors really pull away in the fourth quarter. Houston's offense has looked terrible in the fourth quarter when they need to kind of rely on that half-court offense, try to generate good looks. They just can't seem to get that done. Huge emotional and psychological win for the Warriors, winning Game 3 without Jimmy. Didn't have him for most of Game 2 as well. I think Butler's going to play in this one. I think that's going to make the difference, and I think they're going to be able to pull away in the fourth quarter again.
Do you feel that Jimmy just being out there is enough of a swing, or do you feel that Jimmy's going to be near playoff Jimmy level, 22, 24 type of effort from him?
It's hard to tell if he's going to be 100% or not, but I think, even at, 80% or something like that, I mean, he can affect the game in so many different ways. He doesn't need to be that number 1 scorer. He opens things up for Curry, great ball handler, good defender. So I think, even if, he's a little bit banged up out there, not at full strength, not, NBA all-star Jimmy Butler, I still think he makes a big, big difference for this team and, kind of on all the little things that don't necessarily get noticed on the scoreboard. But when you're watching a game, you're like, all right, that's huge.
Yeah, and I think even if it's just drawing some eyes away from Steph, it could be enough. As somebody who wants or needs this series to go over 5.5 total games, I'm not feeling amazing. Houston let one go in game number 3. I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull that back. Rohit, we appreciate it, as always, man. Make sure you get him on Twitter, at @covers_row as well. We'll check in soon.
Thanks, Kevin. Best of luck.
All right. Yeah, you got it, man. Always great, again, to talk with Rohit here. I want to just quickly, I mentioned the Dodgers earlier in the show, and I said I might get, pushed over the finish line, if you will, on something I was contemplating, and I have been. So I kind of talked about my frustration with J.J. Redick's move against the Timberwolves in game number 4 as it pertains to the Lakers. To me, the Lakers are not winning the Western Conference, but that isn't a hot take to anyone. But I also didn't come to that conclusion at the end of game number 4. I came to that conclusion at the end of game number 2. The Lakers won that game against Minnesota, went back to series favorites, and had the best defensive effort of their entire season. And I realized that I gave the Lakers a little bit too much credit pushing them in to the Western Conference Finals, or through the Western Conference Finals. That was close. Ultimately, I had them beating the Thunder in 7. I think I still have this belief that if LeBron is playing in a Game 7, he's the greatest Game 7 player in league history. That's not even a debate. Don't be foolish. He's going to win that game. That's not about Luka, SGA, or experience. Minnesota better get this done in 5 or 6. Like, that is my still belief when it comes to LeBron. But I thought that the Los Angeles Lakers offense would be so consistent with having Luka and LeBron at the helm that the way to beat them would be expose the defensive weak points. And the Lakers offense, through the first 2 games in the series against Minnesota, they were not able to crack 100. The Lakers' shooting didn't feel reliable enough. They could not withstand any type of off game from either one of their megastars. And what that meant is if Minnesota was going to create a problem, OKC is going to create way more problems. And I thought the Lakers were the only team that could beat OKC. Well, here's the other thing, though, now. I don't want to hear about rust. The Thunder are going to get a week off, at least, before they have to get back out there. Everybody else is in a dogfight right now. Clippers, Nuggets, I think it's going 7. Lakers, Timberwolves, teams are playing 58 minutes a night. Steph's getting banged up against the Rockets. The Thunder are better than everyone and more rested than everybody. Thunder, we'll talk about it next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, I got cut off a little bit there. That's on me. Let's just reset the deck, okay? I want to do this nice and clean for everyone. When we entered into the postseason, Cavs-Lakers was my final. Cavs winning the championship. Most unbiased man history, sports media. How you doing? I lost confidence in the Lakers after 2 games. It was very close as to whether or not I thought they would actually be able to beat the Thunder. I was trusting in their offense. I lost faith in that after 2 games. All right? Now, my Laker tickets were bets that were made at great numbers when we were also trying to figure out if the trade was real, right? So I didn't have to reinvest in the Lakers at some of those numbers. And those would have been Western Conference only wagers, right? Because I still think Cleveland is going to win the championship. I really do. But the Lakers were the only team I thought could beat OKC. And now I look around at what every other team is having to put their best players through. And if OKC does not make it out of the West, I will be stunned and disappointed. I don't know who it'll be a referendum on. I can't envision the world. Kawhi, Jokic, Ant, Steph, LeBron, Luka. It's not going to be the Rockets. The amount that, but even still, Şengün, that these teams are having to put on their guys in just round number one, as OKC, the deepest of the bunch, are now off for a week. I refuse to believe that it is going to be their downfall and that they will be rusty. OKC is getting through the West, but at minus 185, I need somebody to do the salsa. So we're going Dodgers money line, Thunder to win the West parlay, plus 110, plus 113, plus 112. Shop around, do what you must. But I'm going to get in on Oklahoma City with the Dodgers money line tonight. Now, I will say this. Due to that number, if the Dodgers lose tonight, I'm cooked. That's what it is. I don't think they will. I think the Dodgers are in an incredible spot tonight. It's why I laid the 1.5 on that run line with the Dodgers to ultimately win this game by margin. I actually would have considered the Dodgers minus 3.5 if it wasn't a criminal number. Plus 170 to win by 4 or more. That's outrageous. But you've got Dustin May, clear and obvious bounce back spot. Cabrera is vulnerable to lefties. Maybe we'll do like a Shohei home run with the Thunder as well. Anyone want to throw me someone with the golf? We could put it with the golf as well before we get out of here, if you would like. But that's where I'm at when it comes to Oklahoma City. I think that team is set up incredibly to just like pull it back to something we talked about at the top of our show tonight, the Damian Lillard injury. I feel terrible for Dame. It is a really, really tough blow. But it puts the Bucks in a situation now where they do not need to wait for Giannis to request a trade. They should be ready and willing to move Giannis on their own. They have no path towards competing. Giannis is still one of the, as it pertains to trade value, 10 most valuable guys in basketball, pretty comfortably. Maybe during a break, I'll do a rough hand of where that is. And give themselves an opportunity to have an eye towards the future. They don't control their own draft picks for half a decade. This is a team who does not have a path to winning next year because the Lillard Achilles injury is going to cost him all of next season, which means he and Giannis won't be on the floor, and it's not like you can trade him. And I think you're going to have a few teams with very legitimate, enticing assets calling Milwaukee. In an offseason where we could see, or well, we will see Durant available, maybe Devin Booker, maybe Anthony Davis. It's possible, right? You could see some, I mean, I know people think like Jokic, but I don't really think that's going to happen, but who knows? But you're going to see, big names available. Giannis is probably going to be the top of the mountain. And there are some top of the mountain teams who, depending on how their season goes, might look to make that phone call and see what they can push across the finish line. If the Dodgers win tonight, 9-2, and ultimately OKC then doesn't live up to their half of the wager, and they don't make it out of the Western Conference, they may not say, that's fine, we're young, we'll get there. They may be willing to move on from Chet Holmgren and then some to bring Giannis into the building. They might. That's why I don't want to make the Giannis list right now. Because I think Oklahoma City might be number one on the list. They may not be on it. Cleveland's comparable. If I'm wrong about the Cavs, they run into Boston in the conference finals and they don't look even remotely close. Is that team then willing to say, okay, let's get Donovan Mitchell next to Giannis Antetokounmpo, two surefire superstar playoff performers, and then are they willing to move the defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley? Don't go crazy, Cavs fans. I think you're winning the title. I'm just saying. Cleveland could be on the list, but not if I'm right. They're not doing anything if I'm right, and they win the championship. What if whoever wins the lottery is willing to move on from Cooper Flagg for Giannis? What if the Wizards are like, we're tired of being bad. You can have Cooper Flagg. How much more would the Bucks need than Cooper Flagg to make that deal? Because I'll tell you this right now. If you want me to sit down and rough hand most valuable players from a trade perspective, Cooper is more valuable than Giannis in my eyes. So I don't think my Wizards should be looking to do that. We're going to talk some NFL draft next.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back with you right here on this Monday, and I do want to talk kind of all things NFL draft. I want to talk about some of the awards, early prices, what stands out. I just want to take this space to kind of give you my full thoughts on the Shedeur Sanders slide. And there is no other way to describe it. It was a slide because it was interesting. There were a ton of people who, after round 1, were very adamant, banging the table. The NFL told you he's not that good. So just, okay, this isn't a story. Okay, one, it is a story, but I wasn't that surprised he didn't make it out or he didn't get selected on night number 1. I follow the markets. I follow the reporting. We saw that was on the board. I was a little surprised he didn't go in round 2, but again, I was not flabbergasted. We heard that the Saints weren't that interested in him. A team wanting Milroe is such a different prospect that him going in front of Sanders, you see it. But now we're in round 3, and Dillon Gabriel goes. And it's like, oh my goodness. And just put a pin in that. And then round 4 goes. And now everybody who was trying to tell you it was a non-story and it was just because of tape looks ridiculous because that's obviously not what happened. Even if Shedeur doesn't have day 1 tape. Nobody's a day 3 tape, round 5 tape, round 6 tape. That's not what happened. Okay? So now you're getting some people to acknowledge the reality. Well, they don't want to deal with the Sanders family. The Sanders circus is what led to this. Okay. That's plausible. Now, what percentage of the quote-unquote Sanders circus led to the fall? Any of it doing with Shedeur's personality, I think, is ridiculous and unacceptable. I think that's totally unfair. Shedeur falling because some of the interviews were atrocious. We don't have access to the interviews. You can only take it at the reporter's word. And if so, then so. And Shedeur not, participating in a Senior Bowl or not practicing in the East-West game, right, in the Shrine Bowl. Those things impacting his perception, I think, is more realistic, right? Because the tape is still the tape. But people being bothered by how the Sanders team went about this, there's elements of it which you can understand, okay? I don't think as somebody who was bothered because I initially felt that this was a pure attack on the Sanders character, I thought that was unfair, realizing that there was elements of it that, okay, I see how that is bothersome, and I see how that could make you lower on a player. I see how Sanders maybe was given some bad advice, or he then made some bad decisions, whatever it might be. I still think it went too far. I don't agree with people that Shedeur wasn't worth a round 1 selection. I'm also higher than everybody else on this quarterback class. I thought Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, and Jalen Milroe were all worthy of a round number 1 selection. But here's the most impossible thing to wrap your head around. Even the lowest person on Shedeur thought he was better than Dillon Gabriel. It is absolutely plausible that only 1 out of 32 teams in the National Football League thought Dillon Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders. And it's the team that traded up to draft Shedeur and stop the fall. The math is not adding up. And I know people say, well, the owner got involved. Well, then what does that mean? What does that mean the future holds here? Is Shedeur going to get a real crack at this? How also did the people in the room in Cleveland think Gabriel was better when 0 people thought that? Did they think they were close and then the off-field stuff edged Gabriel? It is one of the most stunning things that you could possibly imagine. And I think, people say, maybe he can win the job in Cleveland. Is Shedeur even in a spot where he is going to be even any level of chance for that? Because apparently, based on everything else they did, they are hoping to draft a quarterback in 2026, so they can't let Sanders mess up their plans. A baffling situation that played out over the weekend. We'll be right back.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions is live, and we are just on the hunt for some sizzles, quite frankly. Just trying to keep our eyes peeled. Is there anything that we're missing before we talk a little bit about where the board has shaped up? I'll tell you what, here's one. Here's just a simple one for the people if you do have your odds boost still available. Amen Thompson over 17.5 PRA. Evan Mobley over 9.5 RA. Steph for 20. Donovan Mitchell for 20. That's plus 100. You can slap a boost on it if you'd like. That's something that I'm going to do with what are my 2 favorite plays on the NBA board as kind of the anchors there, and Amen Thompson and Evan Mobley. Okay, let's just do some NFL draft stuff, non-Shedeur Sanders division. Let's start with Offensive Rookie of the Year. I want to go back to last year's Offensive Rookie of the Year, which Jaden Daniels won. So my thought process heading into that market last year was half correct. I bet Caleb Williams because it was a much better number than the Bears to make the playoffs, and if Caleb led his team to the playoffs, he was going to win the award. I was right that if a quarterback led his team to the playoffs, he was going to win the award. Wrong that it was going to be the Chicago Bears. Now, that to me is not something that can be forgotten because, and I know people are going to think, oh, K-Dub's hating on Jaden Daniels. I am not. But Jaden Daniels last year, even if you say quarterback is so hard he deserved it, should have been in a race and a part of a debate for the award. Because in the rookie class was a player who was first-team All-Pro. The best player in football at his position was an offensive rookie last year in Brock Bowers. It wasn't even an offensive lineman. He had one of the best seasons the tight end position has seen in his rookie year and had zero chance to win the award. So Ashton Genty being favored over Cam Ward is a bit of a tough sell for me. Even if you like Vegas a lot more than the Titans, which is, of course, totally fine, neither are projected playoff teams. But the player that then stands out, a guy I'm not really in on, but number-wise you have to just take a look at, is Tyler Shuck at 20-1. This is simple. The longest odds of any team to make the playoffs is still underneath 10-1. The Saints number is plus 420. If Derek Carr is out for the season, it's very possible Tyler Shuck is this team's starting quarterback. I'm not betting this right now. I will handle all of this when we're doing our NFL futures when the season is coming up. But something to track, something to watch is the Tyler Shuck number if there starts to become legitimate buzz that he's going to be that team's week 1 starting quarterback. Because if the Saints make the playoffs, not something I'm going to be projecting them to do, I don't imagine. But if they did, he's going to become very, very difficult to beat in this market. Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is an edge rushers award. I talked about this a couple of years ago. If you just look at it, it's not just an edge rushers award. It's a round 1 edge rushers award. And Abdul Carter is a rightful favorite. If it was not for this being such a defensive line heavy class, he should be a minus money favorite. But if you're going off of the edge rusher round 1 criteria, then Jalen Walker, Mykel Williams, and James Pierce are all there. If you want to say that Mike Green and Donovan Ezeraku had round 1 grades, you could certainly make those cases. Abdul Carter potentially being, we mentioned our OKC wager. If you want to get crazy and give people like the Consiga headache, Abdul Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Dodgers home run, Shohei home run, and Thunder to win the Western Conference, you might have yourself something to work with. You might have something to consider. I'll add this, as you can, of course, see the consig here, just very quickly. Everyone's crushed the Falcons for what they gave up to get James Pierce. I disagree. I don't care what the trade value charts say. I'm going to, turn the clock back, okay? Look, I'm online. I follow the smart guys. I understand what they're all saying. It was a draft that people feel half of the guys that went around 1 may not be worthy of round number 1 picks, which means the Falcons drafting at 15 might struggle to get a round 1 worthy guy. And the Falcons left this draft with 2 of the 10 best players in Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., because that's exactly what James Pierce Jr. is. James Pierce Jr. might end up the second best player in this draft.
Whoa.
All right? So I have no problem ultimately with what Atlanta did. Consig, it is good to see you. Warriors hat on. Can't get a great read on the jersey. Looks hockey. It looks like there's red in there. Is it Rangers?
This is a Quebec Nordiques.
Ah.
I don't have an Avalanche jersey, but that's where the Avalanche came from.
I see.
Nordiques. So little Joe Sakic on the back. But we're going Colorado tonight. Colorado, Golden State. Little parlay for you.
There you go.
Based on what I'm wearing. But I mean, it's great to see you. I'm sorry I missed you in person. I sat in your chair.
Yeah.
I sat in Donnie's chair. Actually, it's an outstanding chair. It was great. In studio visit with the boys was awesome. Me and Wetzel tried to hold it down. Nothing like you guys did for the draft, though. I mean, we talked about it so many times leading up to the draft. I have the question for you. I'll just ask you right now. Did the Steelers get a quarterback? Can you please let me know?
Well,
did the Steelers get a quarterback?
Kinda.
What do you think?
I think.
Is this kid going to play? Is he going to make the team?
I think, quite honestly, the Steelers situation is infuriating, and I'm not even close to a Steeler fan.
Thank you.
So I don't know how the fan base feels. Yes, I think it is fair to say that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you actually think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be your quarterback for more than 2 years? Like, is it even possible that he's the quarterback for more? Well, that's what I'm saying. So you should have a succession plan in place, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
If Tomlin likes Shador as much as everybody says he does, then go get him the guy in round 4. Sign Rodgers. Be like, awesome. We don't even have to rush Shador. Any of the noise, we'll have so much time to carve out. It's just non-serious. They take a non-serious approach to the most serious position in the sport.
Yeah.
I don't have much time for it. I'll be rooting against them flatly.
Oh, well, that's fine. I don't know what Cleveland did. They drafted 1. They drafted 2. They got more than enough.
You want Flacco? You want Pickett back?
Starter? You want Flacco?
You want Pickett back?
Flacco to be the starter?
Let's take a break. We'll come on back. This is already too much Steelers for my liking.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back in the mix in a major way. Quick Mobley check-in. 1 dime, no bounds. Let's wake it up. Donnie Mitch is hot early. His Cavs team looks great. I love what I'm seeing. I really do.
No drama with this team, Kevin. No drama. They're here for business. They're stand on business, like the kids say. They just come and play. They're going to win. They're going to cover. They're going to move on. It won't be something that Scott and I will talk about much tonight on In Game Live. The second game, though, the second game is very, I think, captivating.
Okay.
I think there's some interesting things to look at. We'll see. Is it really just that easy where the veterans are just going to be better than the young kids? and the Golden State wins and covers this game easy?
I don't think necessarily. I think, look, a still veteran but younger, fresher version of Golden State, when they played Sacramento in round number 1, had the chance to close them out in a game 6 in Golden State and had to end up doing it in a game 7 back in Sacramento. So I think the Rockets are absolutely live tonight. If not, I don't think it means that they're done in 5. I don't think the series is over. I have my Eamon Thompson play. We'll talk about that a little bit more before we get out of here. I want to just throw something at you, Dave, that I didn't get to yet with all the rookie stuff. And it's Travis Hunter.
Oh.
I'm curious. So I don't know if, I know you have a lot of friends in a lot of places. I don't know if you have friends at places that are posting the Travis Hunter season specials. Just give you some of the examples. Hunter, 5 regular season offensive touchdowns, 1 regular season defensive touchdown, 12-1. Hunter for 75 regular season receptions and 2 regular season interceptions, plus 250. 1,000-yard season, plus 230. You can see them up there. It does look good in the Jags colors, I'll say that. But if you spoke to anyone at all around the pricing that could potentially be of Travis Hunter, I know it's such a ways out, but I think it's one of the most unique things. I mean, I know it is. It's one of the most unique things we've seen in football.
Yeah, without a doubt it is. No, I can tell you pricing those things is kind of just, figuring out the hold percentage of what you think you want to hold and then putting them out there and just taking bets. Like the limits aren't high, so you can take quantities of bets. You can take, limit plays, maybe a dime. I mean, it might be as low as a nickel. It might be 200 at some joints, but that's fun stuff. I can tell you this from years past. These things are more for the media than for the actual book. Like nobody's coming in and going, "Oh, I love this, Travis Hunter to get 1,000 yards prop bet," and in April, and they're going to fire out, a couple hundred and tie up their money without even seeing them get to camp or anything like that. I don't know. I think that at least made opening night, draft night, a little intriguing. When they move up to get them, that was between that and I don't know. This Genty stuff is interesting. When he got picked, who he got picked by, is he going to have an impact or not? How good is he going to be and have a career? I don't know. I mean, look at this thing. It made him the favorite. I mean, it's a done deal. I don't see it. I don't know. I mean, he's on the Raiders, and Pete Carroll's here, Geno's here, so they're just going to hand him the ball, and he's gonna pile up the yardage and win this thing.
So I'm glad you went there because I want to talk about that market, but with Travis in mind. So the Hunter stuff is obviously super, again, like the Jags trading up for him and all the reporting since has confirmed a lot of kind of what I thought. They're going to let him play both ways. Offense is going to be the focus. Do you think it is possible, Dave, and we're asking this in April, I know, that let's say Travis Hunter has 80 grabs, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's an amazing season, right?
Yeah.
But maybe Genty runs for 1,200. Cam Ward throws for 3,800 and 28 touchdowns, right? Maybe Tet McMillan though has 1,000, right, in Carolina, okay. 9 scores. Do you think that there will be an argument for Hunter of his offensive stuff's more impressive because he's playing defense? We're getting him one of these awards.
Ooh, maybe there might be. That might be an interesting narrative that I think maybe needs to be considered. Now you got to see that as it gets closer to the season starting and watching him in practice and getting reports of how much he's going to play. I mean, it's kind of like equating, what Shohei was doing when he was pitching too, right? To when he was just hitting. Now, I mean, what he was doing hitting was record-breaking. It wasn't even a question that he should win it. So, I mean, that's an interesting market because I think there's more than 1, 2, 3 people that can win that thing, at least right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm just surprised that it just went right to the Genty favorite and being that much of a favorite based on him being here in Vegas. It just doesn't. That one to me, I'd be looking to play other guys like Hunter.
Yeah, I think that there's other guys to play, but also I think his straight season rushing total. Let me see if this is right here. It will, it's over 1,000.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested in Hampton, quite frankly. If the Chargers thought he was worth a round 1 pick, he'll beat Najee out. They run the football, but projected a playoff team. So yes. I don't think it's the Genty number is not a fair number if you're looking to get in the Genty market. I think we can agree on that. Yeah. I think so. I think Genty could run for. So he's let me use a different book here. He is plus 300 to run for 1,300 yards. He's plus 270 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. If he runs for 1,300,
he's probably going to win Rookie of the Year.
I'm not sure he does, though. He might.
I don't know. That means the Raiders have a good season, and he does.
Yeah, but
well.
Dave, Bowers was the best tight end in football, and he didn't even get nobody even thought he was worth talking about because Jaden Daniels plays quarterback. That's not a Daniels slight, but that's the power of that position. All right, we'll button it up with you next. It's Monday Night Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are doing handshakes on the Heat court. It's 30-8.
Oh,
is bad. Considering I'm going to get you out of here on this, I'm going to give you something to root in. I had one NHL play today. One NHL play.
Wow. Hockey guy. Give it to me.
Someone had to. Before I do that, though, I'm curious, how did you see these 2 games today? I want to see how you were reading them, and then I'll let you know where I landed.
Tampa and under, Colorado and over.
Okay. So here's why I landed.
All right.
Under 11.5 total goals today. I like double unders. I decided it was plus 110.
Yeah.
We grand salamied it. I'm taking the full meal. Under the 11.5 for the day. I think at least one team scores only one goal. And
Fair.
I was tempted by Florida plus 250 to be the highest scoring team of the four. Just kind of beat out Colorado, but ultimately I played under the 11.5. Hey, can't ask for a better start. Zeros across the board through one. So
and they killed a couple power plays. I think you're thinking right. 6 in the second game, 5 in the first. It still gets you under. Although now with the 0-0, you might get a 3-1 final, 2-1 final.
Looking for a 2-1.
Wiggle room for the late game.
We're looking for a 2-1. That way we can.
That looks like a pretty good card. That looks like a 4-1er. That looks like a 4-1er.
Hey now. We like that. We like that. We'll just don't. The Dodgers are a big rooting interest now for the team, Dave. So
okay. All right.
Just root. All right. That's all we can ask. That's all we can ask. Dave Sharapan, he'll be live tonight.
I'm on the clock. Let's
go. On In-Game Live. Appreciate it as always, Consig. We are going to do a little best bet. We're going to get everybody involved. All right? Because we want to give you as many chances as possible to get involved. So we had the team step up. All right? Amen Thompson over the 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You already knew that was coming. That belongs to me. Known as Casino Chris Kofsky. A's team total over the 4.5. You got to respect it. With J.P. Sears as the photo. That's just good, clean fun. That's just good, clean fun. That's good, clean fun. We got rid of the DH. We're letting this guy get in the mix tonight. Rockies money line at home against the Braves. I was tempted by the under. Book saw me coming. It's a flat 10 with some not great pitchers on the mound. I said, all right, let's step back, hands in the air. And then an anytime goal scorer, 2-1, Mikko Rantanen from Yarnese. AJ, of course, on the Rockies play. Yarnell on the Rantanen play. Now, here's the deal. Most unbiased man, history of sports media. That usually means it comes with some honesty. Honesty session. Is there a Nico Rantanen, or have I been saying this guy's name wrong for all these years? Nah, come on. This guy's Mikko? Oh! I didn't see that coming. Speaking of didn't see it coming, risky segue. Game time decisions is now 6:30 to 8 o'clock moving forward. It's what it is. It's what it is. All right? We're going to be here still. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Joey Rainman stepping up on Wednesdays and Fridays. But I thought some of the people might say, hey, I don't know if that's enough. I said, you know what, then? We're going to flood them. I'm not trying to mess with people. All right? We've got most of the ducks in a row. We've got approvals. All right? We're working on the full announcements, but we're going to make up for lost time, if you will. All right? We're working on it. We're going to get it to you. Remember those names, though. Let's pop that up one last time. GTD Crew, Monday Best Bets. Eamon Thompson, the A's, AJ, and a guy I didn't know whose name was Miko instead of Nico. All right? That's the big four. I've seen some throw all four in a parlay. You'd hate to be the one in a 3-1. Might happen. Let's hope not. Do not forget the Ruru rootin' interest of the night. All of a sudden, Dodgers money line. So the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the West ticket becomes active. See you tomorrow at 6:30 on SportsGrid.